to Living with Moxie, where Shefali Burns and Donna Martouche, authors, entrepreneurs, and leaders in the world of business, education, and coaching, share ideas, resources, and strategies from the hosts and their guests to provide you with the leverage you require to meet and exceed your business and personal goals. Join us for unique insights from outstanding achievers in business, relationships, health, finances, and living as they share strategies, wisdom, and lessons learned on the path to extraordinary living. Are you ready to live with Moxie?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living with Moxie here on OMTimes Radio. We are at our new day and time, so thank you so much for being here with us. I'm your host, Shefali Burns, and my co-host, Donna Martouche, is here as well with us. And just to get started today, we are talking about appreciation and gratitude. And, that is one of the things that we just love to talk about. It's like we could talk about that for days and days and days. But today especially, it's like, I guess we didn't plan this. It just happened. But we had thought about talking about gratitude and appreciation as we are leading up to American Thanksgiving, right? So, and it also, it turns out today is a really important celebration in the Indian tradition, culture, religion. So it's Diwali, which is the festival of lights. So it's like, oh, extra bonus, extra special. This is wonderful. So we're going to talk a little bit about that just so that, I can express my gratitude and my appreciation for there's so many things. And, how, we're going to talk about how we use gratitude and appreciation to have more in our lives, and I know you've heard it before, and I know I've said it many times, as Donna has as well, but we honestly, being in gratitude, having appreciation, it really helps so much. It really brings so much more to your life than you can imagine. It adds more color. It adds more substance. It adds more feeling. It adds so much more. It makes life worth living, honestly, when you are in that state of gratitude and appreciation. Everything is just more alive, And so I'm just, I'm so excited to talk about this. So Donna, I'm so glad you're here with me too.
I know. I'm so glad to be with you always. And I saw that you were celebrating a holiday today. I was going to ask you to tell us all about it. I didn't really know much about that one. That's new for me. So I'm very grateful to even learn about that. I'm happy to. Yeah, I know, and I'm happy for us to be here on Sundays because now we have a little bit more of a somewhat more of a reasonable time for you to be joining us in a chat because we're on opposite sides of the world over here, and that's a really great thing. And I know that a lot of people have said to me that Sunday evenings are just so much easier than actually during the week because it's not like they have to run in and get settled from work and do all of those things. So I'm grateful to all the people who are ready to be with us and take this move and follow us here on Sunday so that we can actually start your week with you, which is just incredible to me. And starting your week off right is an incredible thing. And today, not only are we starting our, let's get ready for Thanksgiving, gratitude and appreciation. And I guess as we were thinking about it, we probably will start posting, I would think, tomorrow or at least Tuesday about, do at least, well, maybe we could start tomorrow, 30 days of gratitude. Right there on Living with Moxie Facebook page and talk about all the things that you could be grateful for and the difference between gratitude and appreciation. And it is one of my favorite things and it does bring so much. And sometimes you even need the reminder because I know there's times in my life where I say, I know I'm grateful for everything, but. And then, once you add that but, or you're looking at something that feels like lack, you're stepped out of gratitude. So there's a really big difference between sometimes when we think we're grateful and we actually are being gratitude. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does. Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of times we just do things automatically or we're told we should. So we just do it as if it's a chore, automatically, but without any feeling and without any real recognition or awareness of what we're really grateful for and what the meaning of that gratitude is. So There's so many things to talk about, but let's just start here because this is what I'm getting. So, sometimes, we've all been taught just write down 3 things that you're grateful for every day, right? And so, which is fine. But for me, it's not just about the writing it down. It's about really feeling it in your heart, in your being. And not just that even, there's even more. It's to, write down what you're grateful for and how it makes you feel. Why are you grateful for it? How has that, whatever you're grateful for, enriched your life? So it's about putting a little bit of meaning and context to what you're grateful for. So yeah, I could say I'm so grateful for this beautiful apartment that we have, right? And really feel it in my being. But why am I grateful for it? Because I get to live in this country with my husband, because I get to because it's close to transportation, so I can travel throughout the city, because there's stores close by, so it's easy for me to do my errands and running around, because it's close to my son, so it's easy to get to him. So, there's reasons why I'm grateful. And the more that you can put that into context, I think, in my opinion, it just makes that feeling of gratitude even stronger. So it's not just words, you're really, there's, I know I know I try not to put significance on things, but with gratitude, I like to put significance on it. I like to make it important. I like to really feel it. And so that's, you see, I'm so passionate.
Yeah, well, because I think because you've seen what it can create in your life. Wayne Dyer once said you cannot be in appreciation and gratitude and feel lack. It is not possible but to feel anything but full when you are truly in gratitude, right?
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
and it's the simplest things. I mean, depending on where you are in life, there was 5 years ago a time in my life where that was probably one of the more difficult times that I had ever gone through, and waking up, it was hard for me to find anything to be grateful for, where it was, or appreciate, as far as me or my body or my life or my living. And I literally would start with my wrist. I loved my wrist. It was a beautiful part of my body. It was dainty. It was, this thing that looked pretty. I loved putting a bracelet on it. But it was that small. Like, I had to start there, and then it's just okay. I was able to put my feet on the floor, and I could feel the floor. I was grateful for that. I couldn't see really very well or talk at the time, and I was going through a lot as far as physical stuff goes, and yet I could walk outside and I could smell, and I was grateful for my dogs that made me get up and walk every day, because of them, I was able to do that, and they still, loved and appreciated me and wanted to play, and I could feel their joy and their unconditional love. And I focused on things that were things that I think we take for granted every single day, that were just getting up and being able to actually do those things, which for a month prior I wasn't really able to do. So it's amazing when you actually step back and you look all the things that you really could be grateful for, even the fact that you could look in the mirror, or the fact that you could even think about it, because there's people who can't think about it or talk about it or express it. So and you look outside and you just even think about how beautiful the universe is. I mean, I walk my dogs in this gorgeous park every single day. And I walk in and I can feel the trees and the birds and the animals, the chipmunks and everything. And even the people who are going for their early morning runs or doing their Tai Chi out there, and just all of that energy, all of it. I'm just so grateful every day. I take these deep breaths while I'm walking, and I am just filled with absolute appreciation and adoration for the universe, because it's just created so beautifully. So it sounds really corny, but it's simple. It's really simple things that you can start being so filled with love and connection with. It's incredible.
And when you're in that state of gratitude, when you're being grateful, when you're acknowledging, what is good in your life, it's an honoring of you, it's an honoring of your life, it's an honoring of the universe, and it just expands your entire being. And sometimes I think people don't understand what that means. But what happens is that you get out of your head, and because we are always thinking, right? So you get out of your head and you get into that present moment of just being. And I think that is what adds that extra substance, that extra feeling, that extra oomph, that extra joy to your life, is when you're being able to be present and aware and acknowledging what is good in your life, so it's different things for different people, and at different stages in your life, what is important to you, or what's special, or what you're grateful for. But on Friday here, it was a beautiful sunny day. I had gone to my German class, and then I got home, and it's like, it's a beautiful day. I want to go outside. I want to experience the sun in the trees. I just want to see that. And I was just all lit up with it, because I was so grateful that we have another warm, beautiful, sunny day, because I know, slowly it's going to get colder. And so we actually went out and had a beautiful day. I wanted to take a picture, didn't get around to it, but that's okay. But we had a beautiful day, and it was like, I was so grateful that I was able to do that and experience that, because it added more life to my being. So it gave me more energy. I saw more of the city, believe it or not. It just, so much more happened because I was grateful for, it's a beautiful sunny day. I love it. But what more can I add to my life today, because it's such a nice, warm, sunny day. And I was so grateful that I was able to do that. And, just that, to me, living and enjoying your life is just so important. It makes me feel so good. So it's about, doing things and feeling good. And the more that you can find those things to feel good about, the more you'll recognize them again and again and again, and see them again and again and again. And a lot of times that's what gets you unstuck. That gets you shifted from the place where you're at to where you'd rather be. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that when we as we continue, and when we come back from break, because I know we're going to go to break in a minute. But this is something that we could talk about this forever. I mean, honestly, I could talk about all the different things that I'm grateful for every day. Like today, I was able to talk to my mother. I was able to talk to my daughter. I was able to send messages to my son. So I'm always so grateful for technology, because of this gift it is to me. And, here we go to break. We'll be back in a minute.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Spiritual, metaphysical, green living, psychic, alternative healing, life coaching. Do any of these or similar terms apply to your business or cause? If so, you are in a niche market with a very specific audience. Conscious Gate PR is the world's leading conscious public relations agency. With a global reach of over 4 million and growing, we offer comprehensive media campaigns to our targeted market. Learn more at ConsciousGatesPR.com. Conscious marketing for conscious minds.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle. Deborah Livingston is an award-winning intuitive psychic medium whose international services include mediumship, spiritual assessment, animal communication, and spiritual mentoring. She is a published author and a trained shaman. Deborah provides evidential messages from spirit and departed loved ones. Learn more at deblivemedium.com. That's DEBLIV medium.com.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody. It's great to be back here with you, and I love this conversation. So one of the things that that comes to mind when I think about gratitude and appreciation is The idea of what we hear or what we know or what we've learned about the law of attraction, and we talk about, or you've read about, or most of you know about The Secret, the law of attraction. Does it work for you? Doesn't it work for you? And also just the cliche of you get what you think about. You get what you think about all of the time. So, so one of the, I guess, feelers that are out there, I guess I don't even want to say feelers, it's almost like looking in the mirror. If you're noticing each day that you haven't gotten any closer to being out of lack or being closer to feeling healthy, or something isn't shifting, it's a great way to start checking in and saying, well, am I truly focusing on joy and gratitude, on everything that I do have, on the abundance that I do have? Because even if you're feeling like you don't have it, when you focus on some of the things that I talked about earlier, which, I had to probably, I would say, lose just about everything in order to get to that space where everything was something that I appreciated. However, what if you didn't have to get to that space to do that? I mean, we drive in cars that are just, look at our cars nowadays. I mean, you can go forever and be entertained and have music and be guided and be comfortable and even sleep if you had to. You know what I mean? Like we have all of these ways to get from one place to another that make life so easy, so much easier than before. We have the ability to communicate and to connect, and it's just sort of so. One time, somebody said, "Well, what is it that you could be thankful for that you have not yet been thankful for and you haven't acknowledged? That you have not yet acknowledged. What is it that you could be thankful for that you have not yet acknowledged?" Everybody's got something, and I know that I can feel it in the energy as you guys are going. I can feel some of the ideas popping up, and I feel someone say my mother, my father, or a particular friend, like some of the things that I'm picking up in all of you who are listening. Just things that we take for granted every single day. How about the warm water on your back if you take a shower in the morning or something along those lines? I mean, that's just so beautiful to me, right? So, so those are some of the things.
I was just going to add, Donna, and it's not about, thinking about people that are lacking that and oh, I'm so grateful I have that because I know other people don't have that. That's not what we're talking about at all, because that way you're still in that state of lack. You're all still focusing on lack. But, when you're really appreciating the warm water, because it feels good, right? Because you like it, it feels good. That's what we're talking about, appreciating that. If you're appreciating, a soft bed or whatever type of bed you like, depending, right? Just appreciating that as it is without comparing it to anything else. Just, I appreciate this bed because it lets me have a good night's sleep, right? Oh my goodness, my mind went somewhere and then I lost it. But it's just about in that moment appreciating something that you don't normally think about, right? And like Donna said, there are so many things that we do on a daily basis that are automatic, and we're not even aware of them. We don't even recognize them. So can you go, in your day, and just take a look at, little things that you do, and what can you appreciate? What can you be grateful for? That you don't normally do, like we all, and that's the thing, is like we look at the big things all the time and appreciate them and are grateful for them. But sometimes it's having electricity, it's having food in the fridge, and sometimes, it may be a specific type of food. Sometimes I'm like, I have ice cream and Robert hasn't eaten it. I'm so grateful because, in that one moment, I feel like having that ice cream, right? And so I'm grateful for that ice cream. Other times I probably wouldn't be, but in that moment when I really want it and it's there, it's like, yes, and those moments that they come all the time when you start to recognize them and are aware of them, right?
Absolutely. And you start to see more of them. But what you start to do is you start to train your mind to focus on the things that are just beautiful and coming your way, and that reinforce the fact that, that you start to train your mind on what to look at. Because you get to choose what you focus on throughout each and every day. I mean, we could walk out and be experiencing the same exact day, and someone could notice that it's cold outside, and someone else might notice that the breeze is helping them feel like, refreshed, and the air is just beautiful, or like, it's just, it's everyone has a different perspective of the same situation. And in the book that we did together, which was The Ease of Having Money, I said one of the keys is really taking a look at how you look at anything. I've worked with clients who have lost money in a business, let's say, and one client may turn around and say, that's the worst thing that ever happened to me. I'm never going to go into business again. That was such a risk. That was so stupid. I should have done something that was more secure, more safe. And another person might say, all right, cool. I'm closer to where I want to be. I now know that I have to do this next time and not that. And they keep moving. So, it's all a choice, and every second we have to start doing what you and I've talked about, which is not an easy thing to do because we're not trained to do it, but we have to take the challenge, if you will, to actually pay more attention to our thoughts and kick out the ones that do not serve us and consciously choose ones that do. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing that, I think we've talked about before on the show as well. It's about what are you thinking? What are you thinking about all the time? And what kinds of words are you using for yourself, in your life, in your business? Because they all have energy and they all, impact you in a certain way. And how are you feeling? And when you're feeling down, or when you're feeling frustrated, when you're feeling stressed out, do you stay in it or do you shift yourself out of it, right? Because in every moment we have choice. And let's face it, we all sometimes get frustrated. We all sometimes get depressed. We all, get a little bit lost. But how long do you stay there? I know years ago, it used to take me a long time, to get out of a rut or to get out of a mood or something. But now it's like, sometimes an hour, but for me, when I'm, in a certain mood, sometimes I actually like to look at it, really feel it, and ask myself questions around. It's like, okay, what's going on here? So I will stay in a mood a little bit longer just to get more awareness of what's going on. But I can easily shift myself out because I know that something else is possible. I know I can choose to live a different way or experience something else. And so, but that's taken practice, I'll be honest. Lots of practice. If you would have asked me 8 years ago, I was not in a good place, and I was in a very dark place, and I was in that dark place for a long time. And, I still don't know how I got out of it. At that time, I tried, different things, and I tried different times to get out of it. And it was difficult. Now, it doesn't take me long at all, thank goodness. But it's taken practice. It's about focusing. It's about being aware. It's about choice. It's about choosing your words and your thoughts and your feelings, and knowing that you can shift out of that and change it to something better.
Absolutely. And you said it. And it does take practice. And even though, I don't know if it was you and me that were talking about it, or I'm not sure, but just recently the conversation of even when you're doing this for years, we hit bumps and quite a lot of them. I mean, in the last year, you and I have hit quite a bunch of them, and we have to pull ourselves out and use the tools and remember what we teach and practice what we preach, per se. Because what's right in front of you sometimes could knock you a step back, and you have to catch that breath and go, "Ooh, wait a minute, I know how I could do this," or, "Hey, I created that," which, by the way, I must say was probably one of the hardest things for me to start acknowledging was I created this. Like I created what I'm in right now that I'm not really liking, and that means that I can create something else. But either way, to not beat yourself up because you just took a step back and go, "Oh yeah, I have something I can do here," and then just start doing it because you can. And what you start to learn is over time, even though it does take practice, even though it does take time, each time you hit that bump, it doesn't take as long. Or you know what I mean? It doesn't take as long to kick yourself up and start moving again.
And something that you just mentioned, Donna, was about we've all gotten into situations, and it's like, yeah, I created this. If I can create this, I can create something else, right? And the thing is, sometimes we beat ourselves up for what we've created that we didn't like. But what about being grateful for what we created? Because sometimes that it means that, okay, I created that, I don't like that, so now I know I don't like that. So I don't have to choose that again. I don't have to create that again. And be grateful that you learned or experienced something that you don't have to experience again, right?
Right.
And
and be grateful that you experienced something that allowed you to get clarity on what you do and what you don't want too.
Exactly.
Which is it's hard to do in the moment. But
after it's better after the fact. We can definitely do it after the fact, right? But in the moment, it's like, what? But yes, absolutely. And that's the kind of mindset you want to have. You want to be in that state of, okay, this happened. It kind of sucks, but you know what? All right, what's next, right? And be grateful that you have that. You can take the next step. I mean, even that, is huge. It's like, okay, yeah, this happened. What next? What now? This is the step I'm going to take now. Yay, because you and be grateful that you can take a next step. I'm just getting an aha about that right now for myself. It's like, oh, okay, yes, I am grateful that I can take the next step, whatever that step happens to be. Sometimes we don't know what it is until, much later. So give yourself time, be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and know that, you know what, if you can create one thing, you can create something else. And that is something that we should all be grateful for, that we are such creator beings that we can create anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that you're not alone, even though we make ourselves feel so alone and so wrong when we are in those situations. Many of us just tend to retreat and not say anything instead of reach out to those that we could very well be grateful for. And I'm the biggest one when it comes to that. I'm not a big talker about the story. Like I don't believe in talking about the story or feeding the story or giving the story any energy. So shifting from one place to another is sort of an interesting thing to do. When you're not going to talk about where you are, you have to have conversations with people who get that and start to talk about what's possible from here, right? So that's also an interesting thing. But and we could talk about that when we come back from break. The story. What story are you telling?
So when we come back from break, I'm going to talk about Diwali because I know I don't want to forget about that. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about the story that you keep telling over and over again, or not telling.
Awesome.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello! Join us, Lisa Berry and Michelle Carter, every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the Mindset Makeover, What's Possible. Get ready to become present, clear, and unstuck, and start living fully, led by your heart. While you listen and feel this transformation through vibration of word, sound, and song, you'll open up to what's possible and experience your shift.
Check out my new time machine.
Does it work?
Hit the button.
Hey, it's Napoleon.
Oui. Check out the future.
Hey, you have a nice house. Why don't I?
You didn't save any money, buddy.
If only there was a way I could go back in time and fix that.
Yeah.
Save something for the future. Put away a few bucks. Feel like $1 million. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hello, everyone. We are back here on Living with Moxie, and I'm going to quickly talk about Diwali. So today is a religious holiday festival in India, and it's Diwali or Deepavali. It's the festival of lights that we celebrate every year, and there's many different reasons why we celebrate it, but mostly it's It's the good overcomes the evil, the light overcomes darkness, wisdom and knowledge overcomes ignorance. So it's a really empowering time that brings about a lot of peace, light, and prosperity. And it's also the beginning of the new of the new year in the Indian calendar. So it's like Happy New Year. And so, with the new year, it's always about new beginnings, right? And it's about, being hopeful for the future and, creating something new. And so, this is something really special that, we do every year. So, we clean the house, so we sweep away all the dust and everything from last year. We open up all the windows and bring in the new energy of the new year coming in. We turn on all the lights in the house and put out candles. So it's like everything is on. And it's about signifying the light, the goodness, the wisdom, the knowledge, and how, powerful that is and how peaceful. And, we're praying for prosperity or wishing each other a prosperous new year, a prosperous and healthy and happy life. And so it's really, really special. And I'm glad I was able to do this in our new apartment this year, so it's even extra special. I even bought some new items for the apartment for this occasion specifically. So, it's nice. So I'm wishing you all a new year filled with peace and love and light and abundance and knowledge and wisdom. And yeah, it's really special. So I'm so grateful that I am here in this apartment, here in Austria with my husband, and here with all of you. And my special co-host, Donna, we do so much together, and it's so much fun. I'm so grateful for you. And that's the thing. It's like when you're feeling grateful, it just opens up your heart. You're just happier and you're more joyful. And, life becomes more of a gift than like every day. So life is a gift every day, but we don't recognize it. We're not aware of it. So when we're in that state of gratitude and appreciation, life becomes an even bigger gift. And when we see that and we recognize that and we acknowledge that and we, when we embrace that, I just find that life becomes beautiful. I think there was a movie called Life is Beautiful that came out many years ago now, but life really is beautiful. And when you can be grateful and positive and uplifted and empowering all the time, or as often as you can, then life truly, truly is beautiful and magical. So I just wanted to share quickly about that. So thank you all for being here with us. I'm so grateful because I get to share this time with you all. And have you noticed that my energy today is so much more expressive, more vibrant, more here because it's not 1 o'clock in the morning.
I know. I'm so happy. You have no idea. I could feel it even in my body. It's so incredible. Yes, and I'm glad that we could celebrate your holiday together. That's wonderful. And it's a new moon.
It is
tonight.
A new moon. Yes.
Yes, which also allows people to clean out and do the new beginning and use that energy to their advantage and really take out of your life what's not working for you and write down anywhere from 3 to 10 things that you'd like to, we always say it, that you'd love to create between now and, I wouldn't even say 10 things, 3 things that you'd really love to make your top 3 over the next 30 days between now and the next new moon and just know that it will happen, kind of, do your planning there. And I always write out my abundance check as far as that goes, which is sort of, some people think is silly, but I love to do that, write myself a check, which is it's just fun. Yeah, it's fun, right? So it just does feel like new beginnings and it's fall, which is sort of interesting because that's not usually when I feel so much about the new beginnings, right? I usually feel it in September because I've worked in education for about 20 years. So every time a new school year starts, it feels like New Year's to me. It feels like, oh, we get to start over. And then there's always New Year's, which you're always trained to do. And Easter were really the times that I always felt that way. But to add this time of year is even more wonderful. I have another thing to celebrate thanks to you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And, for me, I don't always celebrate New Year's because it's like, oh, it's just another day. But for me, every day is a new beginning. Every day can be a new beginning. And so I don't like to wait until New Year's, January 1st, to begin something. I can begin something now. right? And so when you're talking about write down 3 things that you'd like to create in the next 30 days, yeah, write them down, look at them every day, and start taking small action steps to actually help to actualize them, to manifest them, So, and the more that you look at them and more that you try and take some action steps, small, doesn't matter what they are, something on a regular basis, every day or every other day, then yes, they will come to pass. And that's how it starts. That's how you start to create. That's how you start to shift your life to more of where you'd like to be instead of where you are right now.
Yeah, because you know what, when you say that, I realize that even when very often when I ask people what they want, they really don't know. They do go blank, but they can list for hours everything that they know that they don't want. And that's very often where our focus is. Like, I don't know if we're taught that way or we grow up that way, but very often our focus is on what we don't want. And then I remember I was working with someone who said to me, well, she wanted to meet someone online, and she was very specific about minimally what she wanted, and she wrote it down. And she wrote it down. She said, this is what I want, period. And she didn't look at the things she doesn't want. She didn't have that on her list. She didn't say, I want this, but I can't have that. It was just, this is what I want. And she listed like 10 or 15 things that were so very important to her. And she got it, she got it. She's married to him. They have 3 beautiful children. They've been together for 25 years. It's like, or 20 years or whatever I don't even know. It was like when the internet dating first came out. So, but her kids are a little bit older than my daughter. So you'd have to say at least 12 or 13 years. And it was really, she was always very good at just being clear. What's in my mind is what I want. It's not what I feel like I lack. It's not what I had. It's not, well, I've had this relationship and this relationship. And, sometimes we say, well, this was bad. I know that I don't want this. It's like, that's not part of the vocabulary anymore. Right. So, that's partly the difference between focusing on gratitude and focusing on lack. It's, what do you have in your life that you appreciate? What do you desire to have? It's still all connected to that positive focus and controlling your thoughts component. And that was somebody who just does it naturally. The idea of including anything else in those thoughts would not have even crossed her mind. Right.
But if you don't know what you want, sometimes it's a great place to start by saying what you don't want, right? And then you can ask questions around, okay, I know I don't want this, and then ask questions around maybe sometimes the opposite of that or something just better, because sometimes, just to get more clarity about what we do want, right? So you can start with what you don't want, and then you can, from that list, you can start to create another list of what you do want. Sometimes they can.
Yeah, you could even ask, right? You can say, how does it get any better than this? What is it that would be a contribution to my life that I would love, that would be fun for me? All of those types of things are questions that you can ask to help you get there if you're really not sure. And, you could ask, what energies are exciting for me, fun for me, nurturing for me? And sometimes it's just that you focus on. Like, I'll wake up in the morning and I'm not necessarily sure what I would love to create in that particular moment, but I'll say, I would love to feel fun and clarity and joy and connection and, and ease. And, and that's enough for me to start my morning out. And then that's how your day goes. It's like I'm telling the universe how I want my path to be laid. And as that starts to happen, you start to attract the things that you love, whether you recognize that or not, even though you couldn't identify it in the beginning. It sort of helps you get more clarity about it all throughout the day.
And, another thing that I like to add or question is, what do I want to experience today? And just that question, what do I want to experience today? Well, I want to experience, I may say, I want to experience some fresh air. I want to experience being out in nature, right? And that'll get me going. And then it's like, okay, what else do you want to experience? I want to experience some peace. I want to experience some quiet, so then I might go meditate. I might read a book quietly, whatever it happens to be. But asking yourself questions about what you would like in your day, in your week, in your month, whatever that happens to be, can get you started on more about creating what you want in your life. And that's the thing is about, we use the word creating a lot. And, we're creating in every moment, whether we know it or not. Consciously or subconsciously and unconsciously, we are creating in every moment with every breath. So it's a matter of us choosing, more consciously of what we would like to experience, create, feel, think about, focus on, all of that, right?
Absolutely. And what you just said is so important to me. It was sort of, we have a couple of choices here. We are creating in every choice that we make, in every thought that we choose to use all throughout the day. So wouldn't it be great if we actually use that to our advantage instead of being this person who just reacts to what we believe life is throwing at us and start creating a life that we then receive and mold and have fun with, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Just makes much more sense if you have the chance instead of just being that person who goes, oh, well, that's the hand I was dealt. Well, even when you're dealt a hand, you can change those cards. You know what I'm saying? It's just sort of, there's always a possibility that what else can you consider here? So lots of ways to look at it.
Point. Right, that brings up a great point of feeling stuck. Sometimes, when we are in a point in our lives when we can't see what to do next because we're feeling so stuck, that's when you really want to get into the state of gratitude and appreciation. That will help to get you unstuck. The gift of gratitude and appreciation is presence and getting out of your head. I think I mentioned that earlier. But when you are feeling stuck, feeling unsure, feeling, not knowing which way to go sometimes, or seeing that, okay, this is the health I was given, and and I can't change it. That's when you want to really focus on the gift of gratitude and appreciation, so that you can start to shift that energy. And we talk about energy a lot as well on this show, everywhere. I mean, I talk about energy everywhere and all the time. And because everything is energy. Your thoughts are energy. Your feelings are energy. Everything you're experiencing in your world and business is energy. And that can all be shifted. It can all be changed. It can, it can be transmuted. And what was I going to say? Blah.
That's. I have a story to tell you too. After these messages coming up, what I did was, as I was preparing something for you and I to look at this week, and in that I was taking. Someone had sent me a video of an hour-long class that I taught. I think I was in Australia at the time. That was all about creating your life, and it was really interesting. The story that one of the students had told me about. When she had first taken a class a while back, her house was in foreclosure, and she said, and I just have to tell you, since using some of the tools and taking a different perspective on things and asking some questions, where my life is now. And we'll talk about that when we get back from these messages. So, thank you. Be right back, everybody.
Yeah. Perfect timing. We did it.
Yeah.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as the people it's made from. So where do you find the best people? That may surprise you.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
This is talent worth knowing about.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Hello, everyone. We are back here on Living with Moxie, and we are talking about the gift of gratitude and appreciation because we are gearing up to American Thanksgiving. Today is Diwali, which is a festival of lights. It's all about gratitude and appreciation for where we are now and where we're heading in the future. Today's also a new moon, so it's so empowering. We can create our new month, new stories for this month. And so let's talk a little bit about, Donna, we were going to talk about stories, right? Were we not going to talk about stories? What stories
Yes, we were gonna talk. Yep.
Telling?
Yes. We were going to talk about stories, and I was going to start with the person who. So I was watching this video last night of this class that I taught, and I think it was 2013 or 2014. I'd have to look. And, it's amazing. I hadn't looked at any of those films in a long time, but I used to film all of my live classes, and I was just pulling them all together for some information and some ideas as far as that goes. And I was watching them yesterday. It was just one of those days. And a woman who was a student of mine and had taken some of my classes was talking about that. She was talking about the story that she had when we first met, and she was going into foreclosure, and there's just no way that she knows how to get out of this. She'd have to know her story for the last 5 years. She was sick. She got divorced. This happened, that happened. And the story went on. And I worked with her for a little bit of time, and she learned some tools and some strategies, many of which we talk about right here. One of which is the gratitude and appreciation, which is something that you and I obviously use or talk about all the time. And then the idea of telling a different story. So so she started to tell a different story. So now it was about a year later that I had seen her. And not only did she not lose her house, but she had two businesses that were doing pretty well, and a stream that was coming in that was from something that she actually never really did, because it was like she thought it was an old thing to do. It was a weird thing to do, but she used to love making quilts with her grandmother when she was younger, and she just had such a passion for it, but she didn't tell anybody because she was young, and she thought it was sort of like this silly thing that you didn't do until you get older. She started making some, and then people started asking for her to make some that were just absolutely gorgeous quilts. And then she started building, family pictures into them and making them things that families can enjoy, and, different memories for people. And then she made some for people who, were passing on a legacy, or that might be, or someone who might have been sick who they knew were struggling with something, and they made them a wellness blanket with all happy pictures of their favorite memories in their lifetime. So she created all of these amazing, incredible quilts. And she started making an incredible amount of money doing something that she really loved to do, but sort of hid from herself for a long time because she didn't think someone in her late 20s should be doing, quilting. So what she wound up saying to me was, once I got out of all the decisions and I started thinking about everything that I do have, I know that I had said that getting out of this foreclosure situation was impossible, but I have my house now, and I have an income that's more than I've made in a really long time. And I'm telling a different story. And, it took her a while to connect the fact that telling the different story actually comes first before the new story often starts to show up, right? It's like one of those things that people say. Wayne Dyer used to say it all the time. You want to say that you'll see it, you'll believe it when you see it, but it's actually the other way around. So you have to believe it and you will see it. And that's kind of what started to happen with her, and her whole life changed. And it didn't happen in 30 seconds. It happened over time, but it happened. Mm-hmm. So, and there's millions of stories out there like that. And Tony Robbins will say the same thing. Your life is the story that you tell. So what story are you telling? What emotions are you feeling regularly? Where are you allowing your thoughts to go on a daily basis? If you had to write down the thoughts that you experience and the feelings that you experience most often during the day and take a look at them, see them, and then ask yourself write them down and ask yourself, are any of these serving me? Are they creating the future that I'd love to have? Are they helping me in my life right now? And if the answer is no, then consciously choose and demand of yourself something different. And the funny thing is, people don't want to tell a story that isn't true, but that's, that's what a dream is, isn't it? Your whole dream really big, and let that be your story. And the people could tell you live in fantasy land, but often it's the people who live in fantasy land that live out these outrageous lives that are incredible. So what's wrong with that?
Exactly. Well, there's nothing wrong with, dreaming a big dream and telling that story. but I think it goes hand in hand with also starting to take actions to get to that space, right? And so I think that's what maybe stops people is like they're dreaming it, they're talking about it, but then they're not doing anything, and they're just expecting it to show up. And it doesn't always work that way. So for me, like, I'm an action-oriented person, I'll be honest. And so for me, yes, I have big dreams, but then you also have to take actions at the same time. And sometimes you don't know what those actions are. So sometimes it might be a matter of talking to people, doing some research online, doing some research not online, offline, right? And then doing more dreaming, and then doing more action, and then doing more dreaming and doing more action. But it's about not stopping, right? It's about not giving up. It's about not quitting. It's about keeping going, right? Believing in that dream, or wanting it so badly that you're going to make it happen no matter what, right? And then as you start to see it show up, have gratitude and appreciation for it. That it is starting to show up, even if it might be in a small way, it's still starting to show up, right? And that's where I think sometimes people are expecting big things to happen really quickly, like out of the gate kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, they expect big things to happen really quickly. But even when they say actions, some people, if I knew what action to take, or if I had money, I'd take an action. But the truth of the matter is, an action is that Mike Dooley who says that? An action is, I mean, when he looks back, he says that half the actions I took, I didn't know they were connected to getting me where I needed to go. I was just moving, right? I didn't have a job, so I went and got a job. I didn't think the job was connected to my future, but I met somebody there who actually knew how to get me to somewhere else, who introduced me to someone else. It was just sort of, so the action doesn't have to be clearly defined and directly getting you where you want to go, because you might not know where that is. But it could be talking to somebody. It could be taking a part-time job to learn something new. It could be signing up for a class that's going to connect you to people who are interested in the same thing as you are. You don't necessarily have to know what A is going to get you to. You just have to start taking action that will give you the skills, the knowledge, the people, the connections, the conversations, so that you will wind up getting there one way or another. But you're taking an action. You're not sitting on the couch waiting for it to show up at your door kind of thing, right?
Exactly. I totally agree. And that's the thing, is that doing something, there's a phrase, imperfect action trumps no action every time, right?
Yes.
So even if the action is imperfect, it's okay. It's better than doing nothing, right? So keep moving and keep going. And sometimes we have to tell ourselves that too, right? Sometimes I have to tell myself that too. It's like, okay, just do something, and keep moving. So I think that a lot of times that's where people get stuck, and that's where, when you're looking every day at what you're grateful for, sometimes you might be able to see those little things and, then notice that, yes, it is happening. You are moving forward, and then it's easier to keep going when you can see, little successes, right? And it's about celebrating those little successes as well, being grateful for and acknowledging those little successes, appreciating those little things that are happening, whatever they happen to be, whether it's connected to your big goal or not. Just being grateful for different experiences, different people that you're meeting,
and even the idea of saying I'm moving forward feels like judgment, right? It's sort of like, because forward and backward is very often means like, well, I'm going backward, which is often sort of like a saying that you've gone to a place that wasn't good, that was bad, going backwards. I've been there before. That's where I made a mistake. I'm doing it again. Backwards is what backwards often means. But it's just sort of, okay, I'm taking action. I'm moving in a direction. And you don't have to measure it or judge it. And not that the way you said it is wrong. I'm just trying to let everybody know, like, you just don't want to be judging yourself along the way, as far as that goes. So, go ahead.
So Donna, let's talk quickly about, because I know it's like, time just goes by so fast. Let's talk quickly about the 30 days of gratitude we're going to start.
Sure. Do you want me to start? So on our Facebook page, Living with Moxie, starting tomorrow, we're going to be, putting out there, something that we are each grateful for or feel appreciative about in our lives. And we would love for you to join us. And in that also, what you're going to start seeing, because Shefali and I are about to jump on our venture, we opened a publishing company, we haven't done anything with it yet, is soon we'll be information about what will be the first, I guess you'd say, anthology book that we're going to come out with. And I think we'll have that finalized as far as the title and the information by next week, Shefali. I think that will be done. So we'll have some information about what's going on with the publishing company, and if that was something you were interested in, who you can get in touch with, and what you would want to do. So that also is very exciting. We have some great guests coming on soon too. We just have to shuffle through some date changes because they had originally planned on coming on a Thursday night, and I have to reach out to them tonight and move them over to a Sunday. But I think the next one up would be Catherine McIntosh, who I just absolutely love and adore. And she's someone. Have you met her? I don't know if you've met her.
I haven't. No.
Yeah.
I have not. I'm just thinking
she is just, she's a woman who has struggled tremendously with an eating disorder throughout her life. Made herself wrong, made her body wrong, and went and lived in judgment in ways that many people do, men and women in this country. And there's not enough information out there to let people realize how aware you are. But most of you who are listening, I would be surprised if there's a day that goes by that you actually have not judged something about the way that you look or you feel about your body during a day. And she has really dedicated herself in her time into helping people find space and allowance. And create a body that they can have fun with in a way that is not from a space of judgment, but just from a space of nurturing and caring. And it's something that's very important to her. And it's something that's very important to me. It's loving the skin that you're in. I know the difference that it could be, and I've struggled with the other side of it. And I'm looking really forward to having her. And we'll have more information about the day that she's coming on all throughout the week, posted on our Facebook page on Living with Moxie, which is connected to our Twitter page as well with Living with Moxie. Oh, my God. I didn't realize we were done. I'm sorry. So we'll see you all next week. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great week. And we'll see you again next week here on Sunday on Living with Moxie. Bye for now.